Alright, let's go ahead and talk about this shit. You know, you guys, I just dropped a video on the sparring story between Adrian Broner and Errol Spence. And I see a lot of people try to say, what happened with the sparring story between Floyd Mayweather and Errol Spence. That's the one people want to hear about and stuff. But I'm assuming you probably new to the channel. Don't trip. I got plenty of sparring stories. But if you already seen this, I've been dropped this sparring story on my channel. But if you haven't seen it yet, don't trip. I got you in this video. Just sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, your beer, your weed, whatever you need to relax and chill. Because I got you. And this is an older clip. So you will have my smoke alarm in the background. Times is better, but times is hard then. Now this story right here, out of all my sparring stories, this is one of my favorite ones. Because Errol Spence and Floyd Mayweather was actually in there trying to kill each other, y'all.
Across the ring. The counterpunch.
Alright, let's get into this famous sparring session between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Errol Spence. Now, I know a lot of people out there may say, love on the hate one. We already heard about this. But see what I told you guys before. Good storytellers are detail oriented. Good storytellers tell you the truth and they elaborate from the beginning to the end. And we also go in depth. So let's get into this shit from the initial stages. It's like building a house. Let's get into it. So, a lot of people think the whole talk of Mayweather sparring Errol Spence started in the Maidana fight. When Errol Spence, I think he was fighting Hoskins at this time. Right. A lot of people thought that was when they first started talking about this fight, negotiating about the spar or whatever. No, that's not true. The whole sparring session was in talks right after the Adrian Broner and Errol Spence sparring session. What a lot of people don't know is Mayweather had a long talk with Errol Spence after the Adrian Broner sparring session. Basically telling him how good he looked. Basically telling him how he respected his boxing ability. How he had grit. And that he noticed the talent that Errol Spence displayed against Adrian Broner. Basically, all in a nutshell, letting Errol Spence know that he had a whole lot of potential. And that who knows, maybe they can spar one day. Errol Spence, on the other hand, said he would love to display his skills and his talent versus a fighter that he basically looked up to growing up, and a fighter that he has a whole lot of respect for named Floyd Mayweather Jr. That's basically, in a nutshell, how that conversation ended. Both showing each other respect, both basically letting each other know they would love to spar each other in the future. But don't get it twisted. Even though that conversation was mad respectable between Errol Spence and Mayweather, I know both inside each other heads. This is what Mayweather was saying. Motherfucker, you just stopped my little brother. And we all know how tight AB and Mayweather was at that time. You just knocked out my little brother. You know? And AB was repping TMT hard at that time. And he on my team too. Don't you know what I would do to your ass if we ever sparred? I know that had to be tingling in Mayweather's head. Had to be. So why Mayweather is showing class. I know that side of him was kicking. And you know how, like, when you was in school or even at a job and you see a fight that kind of make you want to fight a little bit. So I know Mayweather, after seeing that fight and seeing how AB was doing good against Errol Spence, I know that kind of made him want to do the same thing. At least he thought about it. Aside from all the respectable bullshit. I know. I can feel it. And Errol Spence, on the other hand, besides all the respectable shit, he's thinking like, listen, I respect you and all that, Floyd, but you know I just whooped your little brother ass. Don't think you can't get that work as well. It's a man down over here. And yeah, I can put you down too. Yeah, come on now. We all grew up, man. Trust me, I grew up playing basketball. Trust me, I respected Kobe Bryant. But if I ever seen Kobe Bryant on that court, you think I'm not going to try to get him that work? So yes, Errol Spence is like, come on, yeah, you see what I did to your little brother. I will whoop your ass, Mayweather. To a certain extent. Now don't get it twisted. I know it's like, damn, this is Mayweather we're talking about. Mayweather himself. Mr. 46-0, 45-0, whatever he was at that time. That all matters. So that's all I'm saying. They was respectable, but in the back of both of their heads, approximately around the time when Mayweather was fighting Marcos Maidana, all right? At this point in time, when Mayweather fought Marcos Maidana, I don't know, do you guys remember? But Floyd Mayweather was on a tear. Errol Spence did a lot of things that Marcos Maidana did to Floyd. He didn't respect Floyd. Well, he respect Floyd, but once the bell rang for that sparring session, all respect went out the window. Now, hold up. I know you guys ready for the main shebang bang, but we still building up, y'all. Now, this sparring session was kind of like, I would say, the Miguel Cotto versus Floyd fight. Or you can even say the Marcos Maidana versus Floyd fight. Except that Errol Spence was a little more textbook and his fundamentals was there a little more when he fought Floyd. Because the reason why I say you could say more of the Marcos Maidana fight, because Errol Spence didn't respect Floyd. Like I told you guys, once that bell rung for sparring. Same shit like you guys see here. Rough and tough. Giving Floyd all he can handle. And man, that troubled Floyd, man. But we're on our way there, you guys. So basically, Floyd Mayweather wanted this sparring as private as possible. Floyd didn't want nobody to see this sparring but about 6 people, if that. Yeah, it's not going to be basically pay-per-view status where everybody and their mama get to see it, like Errol Spence versus Adrian Broner. You know, remember I told you guys everybody was there to see that fight? They made that fight like kind of like broadcast. No, that wasn't with this fight. Floyd said, man, shit, you not finna embarrass me. If you go whip my ass, it's gonna be in private. And that's exactly what happened. I think, who was there? You could count it on two fingers, if that, one finger. I think it was Errol Spence, maybe his strength and conditioning coach, Derrick James, maybe about two more other people, Floyd Mayweather, and, you know, Jeff, Roger, Floyd Mayweather Sr. was there. Leonard Ellaby was there. And that's about it. And Mayweather's bodyguards. Shit, you would think that everybody on the fucking money team will be able to see the goddamn spar, but they wasn't even able to see the spar. It was sad. Floyd Mayweather was that, I'm not gonna say scared, but he was that nervous. I think nervous, because I'm not saying you gotta let the whole world see the spar like Adrian Broner when he fought Errol Spence. I'm not saying it gotta be like that. What I'm saying is you can have more people than that. And I heard the security guards was checking everybody for phones. Couldn't nobody even record it. They didn't tape it. Listen, this was what you call a lockdown private sparring. We can't tell nobody. You can't bring nobody, not even your goddamn mother, to the fucking sparring. That type of sparring. All because Mayweather wanted to be that strict when it came down to being a private sparring. All right? It's funny because it really showed why. And can you really get mad at Mayweather? No, because now I see why. So now that everything is locked down and closed and shut down and secured, let's get into the best part, which is the actual sparring session. And before I tell you what Floyd did terribly wrong, or how he finally met his match, let me tell you good things about Floyd, what he did right. Number one is Floyd was fighting Errol Spence at his own game. Yeah, don't get it twisted. It's not like Floyd winning this fight or this sparring to outbox Errol Spence. He won the sparring session to fight on the inside with Errol Spence, basically letting the people know this is how I'm finna fight Marcos Maidana, or what he was working on to fight Marcos Maidana, fighting on the inside and going tit for tat with these guys. But that was the wrong thing to do versus Errol Spence. So even though Errol Spence, you can say, kind of won the sparring, and I'm going to tell you why he won the sparring. It's not because he won the sparring. We're going to get to that in a minute. But Mayweather fought Errol Spence at his own fight. It's not like Mayweather tried to outbox Errol Spence. So yes, Errol Spence get credit, but it's not like he fought Mayweather doing what Mayweather do. And like I told you guys, at this time, Mayweather wasn't even worried about boxing like that. He was trying to fight these guys, as I was said. So when he was fighting Errol Spence and Mayweather was locking, y'all. I'm talking about, they was locking so much. Only reason why people say that Errol Spence was just beating on Mayweather is because it was close and it was tit for tat. They both was landing meaningful shots on each other. Kind of like what you see here. Epic. But we all know, even if you draw with Mayweather, you beat Mayweather. For what I'm hearing, it was neck and neck. No man is winning this fight because they both is pouring it on each other. But the reason why Errol Spence ultimately gets the W is because, number one, Errol Spence wasn't even a champion He wasn't experienced like he is now. And he was giving Mayweather that work. That work. I'm talking about to the point that Mayweather was in there looking mighty frustrated. To the point that Mayweather was looking like Errol Spence was more than giving him all he can handle. He was giving him something he couldn't handle. That's how it was looking. So I'm hearing they went about 5, 6 rounds, intense sparring, and after the 6th round, Mayweather got out the ring. It was 5 or 6 rounds, either the fifth or sixth. Mayweather got out the ring after they were supposed to continue, and Mayweather walked off. Errol Spence like, what's good? Stand inside the ring, and Errol Spence looking around like, what the fuck is Mayweather going? Everybody was astonished, like, what's really going on? Y'all got water. What do you need, a restroom break? It's funny. Mayweather demanded his security guards to escort Errol Spence out the gym. That's exactly what happened. So, yes, Mayweather did kind of quit. Even though sparring is sparring and they did do some heavy sparring, they were supposed to keep going. But Mayweather ordered Errol Spence, and from what I'm hearing, Mayweather did it very violently. Get the fuck out of my gym. Get him, kind of like how he did Roger. I mean, not Roger. Mayweather, his pops. Get the fuck out of my gym. That's how he did Errol Spence. And then he apologized like usual. And that's volume 3 to my sparring stories. Or I'm out.